What are the two things that you need to know? Number one, you need to know what's causing your problem, Justin. If you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you fix it, right? And number two, you need to know how to fix it.
Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome to the Multiverse Technology Podcast. Today's guest is Dr. Alain Salas, creator of the Global and Success Clearing System, helping entrepreneurs break limiting beliefs and achieve predictable sales, growth, and personal transformation. Welcome, Alain, to the podcast. Honored to have you here today.
Hey, Justin, bonjour, like we say in my country, right? How you doing?
I am doing good. It's been a while since we talked. We've been working together for a little bit, kind of trying out your platform.
Nice.
It's been pretty good. Before we dive into that, if you could kind of explain to the audience a little bit about your journey, a little bit about your life, and then what got you to doing this, and how do you find this system to help other people with?
Yeah, so as you may hear, I've got a tiny accent, right? So I was born, just tiny bit, right? Nobody can notice almost, right?
Man, I can't even tell.
Yeah. And so, so I was born and raised in south of France, right? And I used to live on my sailing boat and renting boat in south of France. Because for me at the beginning, everything was about freedom, and freedom was like adventure, right? So it was outside in the outside world, because my dad was very strict and negative, right? And so I just wanted to be free. And so adventure was the synonymous of freedom, right? And so I did that for 7 and 8 years, and my lifestyle was pretty good, right? I mean, I was working with tourists, in south of France. And the rest of the year, I was working maybe 7 and 8 months a year. And the rest of the year, I was traveling, either sailing with my boat when the weather was nice. And after, when it got too bad in the winter, I will buy a airfare and go to the South Hemisphere. I was basically just a sun chaser, right? And party chaser too, to be honest with you, right? That was a pretty good life. But one day, I had like kind of a vision, right? And I saw myself, helping people, right? Via healing and things like that. I just basically sold everything, right? And to make a long story short, I sold everything, told my parents. You have to understand that they used to call me the gypsy. I have very long hair, partying every night. I told my parents, oh, by the way, I'm just going to go to the US to become a doctor. So, I mean, they really laugh about it.
They're like, what?
Yeah. Alain, that's the last of Alain, right? That's the last trend of Alain. But they didn't know that I was lucky enough and blessed enough, because my mission in life has been given to me, right? So there was no doubt, when your mission in life, you know what it is. You just have to try it. There's you're not going to even debate about it, right? You have almost no doubt, and you're just going to do it, right? And so,
Yes.
Sure, I did. And I went to the US, get my first treatment by a French woman that was from my hometown. I mean, that's crazy, right? And so I enjoy chiropractic, and after I went back, and I sure did. To make a long story short, I ended up in Kansas City, Missouri, and I was done earlier, with my prerequisites. So I did some preceptorship for like after the clinic, right, with another doctor that hired me actually. And next thing you know, I met that woman from France, south of France too, Marseille, in a bar in Kansas City. And years later, we got married, and we've got a kid. Her name is Maya. She's now 20. She's now 21 years old, right? And, everything was rolling pretty well, right? Because here's the thing, with chiropractic, what I enjoy about chiropractic is the philosophy. And the philosophy says that, you've got the innate intelligence, our own ability to heal ourselves. And this was fascinating till this day. I'm still working with that. But when I did chiropractic, I started to treat people, right? So we'll start to get better pretty quick, but after they will plateau very quick too. And so there's so much I could do for these people. And in order to keep the health benefit, they will still have to see me. So for me, there was something that those two things, right? They come from the law of cause and effect. It means for every cause, there's an effect. And for every effect, there's a cause. By the way, I've got an 8 years old kid, and I describe it like this: cause and consequences, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I describe it to him. And anyway, so what are the two things that you need to know? Number one, you need to know what's causing your problem, Justin, right? If
Nice.
you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you fix it, right? And number two, you need to know how to fix it. If you know what's causing your problem, you need to know how to fix it, you're done. You can move on and do some other things, right?
Sounds
And
so
so
simple.
yeah, exactly. That's so true. I'm telling you, it's like you say, it's so simple, but if you applied that principle into your life or any decision that you make, you'll be surprised how false path or things that you're going to ignore because they're not going to match those prerequisites, that finding the cause and knowing how to fix it, right? That's that simple. I know it is. And so I found with chiropractic, maybe chiropractic of a subluxation, like they call, is not all the cause of your health problem, right? And maybe the way to fix it is not the best. So when you do chiropractic work, you work on 20% of the nervous system, right? I was thinking to myself, what's about the other 80% that we call the central nervous system, which is your brain and the spinal cord? So I became a cranial specialist, right? Because with the cranial work, you can change, have an impact over 100% of your nervous system. I know how to release the cranial nerve 10, which is the vagus nerve, right? And things like that. I did develop my own energy work, right? So for the physical, I was okay. I was pleased with it, right? The result that I had. But after, there's people who were coming to see me and they say, man, you helped me a lot, but still my joints are hurting. So I quickly realized that was a different kind of stress, and chiropractic and even energy work couldn't help that because it was what we call chemical stress, right? Which is your internal chemistry, either it's working or not working. Am I eating the right food? Do I have food sensitivity? Do I have some chronic infection like yeast overgrowth or parasite infestation? Right? Do I have toxicity in my body? So I started to work on that and I made a practice out of it. Right? And so I used to have 4 employees. I was seeing 150 to 200 patients a week. So it was a
Wow,
lot.
patient.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, right? But I was living the American dream, right? On top of that, I was helping lots of people. I was fulfilling my life purpose, right? So I thought, oh yeah, I'm doing great, right? But Justin, when you think you've got it right. You think, oh, I'm arrived and all that. And if life has more in store for you that you can even see for
Slaps you in the
yourself,
face.
oh boy, did he? Within a year, talking about slapping the face, within a year, because I was so busy working, all my mind was focusing on work and improving my patient, that when I was coming home after their work, I was there, but I was not present.
Oh,
So of course, my relationship with my wife went down the drain, and what happened, I ending up. So within a year, that's what happened to me. Just number one, I got divorced, right? And when you've got a kid, it's never a handshake. Telling you, I
it's
guarantee you that.
messy.
Yes, it is. And even though we had a common attorney and things like that, it's still because the kids say, "Where is dad? What is doing?" and all that. So anyway, because of that, I started to feel depressed, right? Because I started to feel depressed, my head was not into my work anymore. So my practice went from thriving to failing. I ended up being myself. I had a treatment room, right, in that big office. And actually, I lived in my office, right? Because I thought, I had a really beautiful office. One of the room I did transform. I had every convenience. I'm not complaining, but I said, I'm going to spend 6 months, trying to go back on my feet emotionally and mentally and all that. Justin, I ended up living in this office for 3 years.
That's
My
3
daughter will,
years too long.
I know, my daughter will come to see me and on weekends, and we spend, I try to make it fun and things like that. But I remember one day she told me, Dad, why don't you have a house like mom? And I started crying really. And yes, and that's what started to hit me. I said, I promise, Dad's gonna come back and you'll be able to
Your
have
kid
your
changed your
bedroom.
life with a couple of words.
Man, so I started to find out, okay, what the heck happened to me, right? Because I forgot to tell you. On top of that, I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So here I am, I'm failing my marriage and my relationship with my daughter. I'm failing my prosperity, right? I'm failing my health. Because you have to understand, I will tell people what to do in order to prevent cancer, in order to prevent cardiovascular disease. And here I am following my advices, obviously, being on my program and getting sick. So I had to reevaluate everything in my life, every single. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to become the phoenix that reborn from the ash. So I basically, Justin, I had to find some solution for my problem, right? So there's two things that work for me. The first things, I never been, on a victim mode. I never say, oh, why me? Why this is happening to me?
So many of us do
For
that.
me, and all that, right? So I've been always a creator. I know that there was a purpose for that, right? I know deep within that not only I will grow as a human being, right, but I will be able through my healing and transformation to help my patient even better, right? I even didn't realize how much better I will be able to do it, but I just knew I was on that path, right? And so I was not on a victim mode too, right? So those are two things. And one more thing also, I knew it was not only about me, it was about I was doing that for my patient too, right? So that gave me like I was able more to dissociate from myself. I say, okay, this is happening to me, which is a creator mindset. There's a good reason that this is happening to me. It's for my own good and my growth. I cannot see
Yeah.
that now for sure, but that's always what we judge a negative experience. Well, that's what it is for ultimately, right? And so I started to try to find some solution for my problem, right? And I knew about physical stress. I knew about chemical stress. So what was left was the mental and emotional stress.
That's
So
a
I started
powerful
to,
one.
yes. And so I started to study the mind. And when I discovered about the mind, I mean, we're all talking about mind and body connection, right?
Yeah.
But few people know what really the mind is. I mean, that, including myself at that time. So if you allowed me, I'm going to describe a little bit what the mind is like that. That will set up the foundation for our talk. Is it okay?
Yes, and most of us don't understand the mind that even exists. Most of us live outside of it and we overlook it so much. So please,
Yes, we
explain that.
denied it. We think
Yeah.
that everything is physical because we are using our senses only, right?
Our conscious and subconscious are so powerful and
Yeah.
they're not
So
underutilized.
So that's what we're going to talk about, right?
Yes.
And so you've got actually, it's kind of like, Justin, we are all living in a two different worlds and they are all separate. And so the first world is called the conscious mind, right? And the conscious mind is your self identity, who you think you are, your personality, what you are aware of. So, what are you aware of? Your thought, your emotion, your behavior, and your action. So, that's your conscious mind. And after Justin, we've got a mind that is hidden, very secretive, right? We're going to call it very simply the subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind record everything you have been doing in your life from age 0 to now. All your skill as a podcaster, as a I don't know, I tech, right?
Technologicalist or something.
Yeah. So the
Technological
tech and all
evangelist,
that,
whatever.
all all the activity that you're doing that require skill are stored in your subconscious mind, right? So I became, of course, very intrigued with that subconscious mind. Like, what the heck is going on down there, right? And so there's few things that I want to mention, and you can Google what I said, right? You will see it's right there, right? So the first things, if you look at the conscious mind and subconscious mind, your conscious mind, who you think you are, what you are aware of, your thought, your all that, it's only depends who you're reading, 5 or 10% of your mind. And your subconscious mind, therefore, is 90 to 95% of your mind. And yet, when you want to heal, transform yourself, and grow, we focus only on our conscious mind, meaning that we are only using 5 or 10% of your mind power. So I thought to myself, why not bringing the subconscious mind, 90 to 95% of your mind power to the party? Like that, we can be
Hell
super.
yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be so much
exactly.
more powerful, more present, more alive. Everything just become alive. It'd be more human.
Yeah, and we have been told that we only the little me. We're only 5 or 10% our mind. We are only flesh and bone, right?
So
That
what's
we are
the
much
rest
more than
doing?
that. Yeah, actually, we are conceived with all that 100%. I mean, our conscious mind is not even developed yet. We are purely subconscious mind, right? You are purely spirit when we are conceived, and after we can get into more trouble that I'm gonna explain, right?
Yes.
And so The second things, also with your subconscious mind and conscious mind, your conscious mind, like right now we are talking, right? The conscious mind is aware of only 5 bits per second of data that it can get. That's all it can get.
Don't we only use like 1 bit?
Yeah. Well, no, your conscious mind can use that, but the subconscious mind is record and process 1 million times more. So if you process 5 to 15 bits per second of data with your conscious mind, like that's what's happening now. You know, when I'm talking to
Unstoppable.
you and we can process that. But behind the scenes, we've got 1 million times more of data that is stored in your subconscious. So that shows you how powerful the subconscious mind is, and yet we deny the subconscious mind,
Yeah, I
right?
always
And
say
we
we're
just say it
quantum
doesn't exist.
beings. For like
I'm sorry?
I always tell people that we're quantum beings, that we are the intelligence without the artificial. Like we are so powerful and so deep, but we don't realize or understand or know how to tap into that. You know, most
Exactly.
of us don't. It's just dormant.
Why? Because we don't speak the same language. Right in my field, Justin, they're going to tell you, okay, so if you want to, because I have to say, we all have been programmed. You
Yeah,
have been programmed. I have been programmed. Everybody listening to that program has been programmed. So how does it work? Okay?
100%.
So, for example, we can be, disclaimer first, we can be programmed at any time, at any age. It doesn't matter, right? But most of the deep programming is between age 0 to 7 years old. At that age, we are sponges. We absorb everything that is in the outside world. We are even using different brain waves. We're using theta wave, we're using a beta wave, which are kind of put us in hypnotic state, right?
I've seen that in my friends' kids. There's like information, and they learn so fast.
That's it. But here's the thing, because what happened when you are a sponge, right? You're gonna make assumption. You're gonna think that everything is true that you see in the outer world, right? So you're gonna assume it's true. You're gonna make one assumption, two assumption, and that assumption is gonna become a program. And that program, here it is stored in your subconscious mind, right? And after you forget about it, right? And so those programs are running the show. Let me give you an example. Let's pretend there's a little girl, right? That see her dad that is he's drunk every night, come back home, beat up his wife. So what do you think that little girl, when she's in age to have a romantic relationship, what kind of man you think she's going to attract?
Very toxic one that beats her up every night and repeat that vicious cycle of toxicity.
So I totally agree with you. She's going to be on an abusive relationship. Now there's two comments I want to make. If I ask that woman, now she's a grown woman, she's in that relationship. I say, oh, by the way, do you enjoy to get beat up like your mom? So the conscious mind is going to say no. The conscious mind is going to say no. But the subconscious mind has been programmed as men are predator and women are prey. So how does it work? Let me be like the subconscious mind on both of them.
Yes.
So I'm going to be the subconscious mind on that woman now, right? And so she's going to say, because how are they going to attract each other, right? Because so the only way they can attract each other is like we are all connected via our subconscious mind. So we are not aware of. That's why we say we are all one. It doesn't mean, by the way, we have to love everybody. Of course not.
Well, that's
But
that
we are
people
all
feel like that
connected.
energy you have. That's that subconscious energy. You get that vibe and feel of people. Like who
That's
you
it.
connect with, who you find your tribe with.
Exactly. But that energy translates like that, in the mind is like this. So I'm going to be the subconscious mind of that woman. And so how she's going to attract that man? Oh, there's a man there. Okay. So the subconscious mind say, look at this man. He has been bullied. He's a bully. He's got the predator program, right? It's a perfect match. Fall in love with him. And after the subconscious mind of that man is going to say, look at that woman. She's got the prey program, right? She wants somebody who's in control and in charge and bully her. And I've got the predator program. It's a perfect match. So opposite attract. And like you say in America, it takes two to tango. And that's how it works.
I love that saying. Yes.
You see, so there's 3 different case scenarios, Justin, like to make sure we understand. Case scenario number one, she's going to get married with that guy and get stuck for the rest of her life. And maybe, she's going to be beat up. She's going to call the cops, but never will press charges. And we all have heard about a relationship like that, or we know a relationship like that, and we wonder why she's still with that guy. She's still with that guy because of that programming. So who's winning, your conscious mind or the subconscious mind? Obviously, your subconscious mind.
Hey, my fellow humans, sorry to interrupt your video, but if you're looking for more ways to protect and empower your healthcare practice, we would love to help. At ITCMD, our mission is to simplify IT, boost security, and support your compliance journey with a human touch, so you can focus on caring for your patients. Want to see how easy IT and cybersecurity can be? Schedule a free consult or check out our resources at iteecmd.net. Let's build a safer, stronger future together. Okay, bye. I've been on both sides of that, so I know how that goes. And my subconscious mind was really fucked up and toxic. And I had to change it and figure out how to show up differently for myself. All that changed for me. I was no longer that toxic human being that I used to be. But I took a lot of deprogramming, a lot of consciousness about it.
So what's causing the problem? Is it the conscious mind or the subconscious mind? Obviously, it's the subconscious mind programming. Do you know how to fix it? Well, I'm going to explain more about that, right? That's a big problem, right?
Yeah.
And so case scenario number two, she's going to be involved with that guy and get tired of getting beat up. So she's going to be on a relationship, right? A toxic one still, and maybe she have kids along the way, but lots of suffering for sure,
I hope
right?
not.
And there's two different kind of women that's going to talk to me. The first kind, she's going to say, Dr. Salas, don't talk to me about men. I'm done with men. It's kind of like there's a fire. You put your finger.
Man, you make me happy.
Yeah. Why? Because it's like when you got a fire, you put your finger in the fire, you get burned once. You put your finger against, you get burned two. You say, hold on, I'm not going to put my hand on the fire again, right? So that's the kind of some kind of awareness. So that's one stage, right? That's the first stage. And because we can learn from our life experiences, women in that case, or men obviously, but women in that case who heal will attract somebody that is totally different. A man that respected her, a man that is 100% with her and supporting her, right? And the man that truly is going to love her. And that's how you know what you manifest into your life. When it's the opposite, when it's totally different, you know that you have been healing from that. And to finish it up, case scenario number three, they can come to see me, and we can reprogram the old things. You don't have to go through the suffering. You don't have to go through that crazy life and uncertainty if you're going to be able to heal and transform yourself for that.
That was powerful, and there's so much to unpack right there. Because some people go through their whole lives not understanding that there is a problem and not understanding the problem is them, not anyone else. People don't understand that. They blame everybody else. I hate men. I hate women. I hate mom. I hate dad. But it's like about yourself. You really have, like you said, it's that subconscious programming that some people don't ever see and understand that needs to change. They don't see they need to change. They need to heal.
Because nobody has been telling them. We're not being educated.
We have good friends.
So what they do, okay, if you got a psychological problem, you're going to see a therapist. The therapist is going to work on what? On your subconscious mind? More than likely not, except if they use some technique, but not. So you're going to do like what we call talk therapy. That can make you worse, because if you talk about it, first of all, it's going to re-trigger that program, right? And on top of that, if you're not, exactly. And if you're not successful, you say, man, there's really something wrong with me. Even that man or woman, that therapist couldn't help me. They couldn't. I went to a therapist myself when I divorced, right? But for one reason only, my daughter was acting this way. I say, okay, what can I do for that? I never even dreamed that he will transform me, because I know he couldn't do it, right? But it was for some advice. I'm not saying all therapy is not good. I'm not saying that the therapists are not.
There's a lot of
to help you.
Shouldn't be.
They just don't.
And there's a lot of should be, but they don't know how to talk to people in the right way.
They just don't have the technology, Justin. They don't have the technology to really finding what's causing your problem and making sure that you can heal from that.
Well,
right?
Like you said earlier, though, they're taking from the programming they've had that's going against that programming to be able to heal. Their program is not helping your programming to be reprogrammed.
Yeah, because they don't know, first of all, they don't know what's causing it, and they don't know the main thing, how to fix it. The talk's is not gonna be able to. So I went to that therapist, like I was saying, right? And I say, okay, my daughter is doing this. What should I do? He said, oh, study I've been saying if you do this, that will be better. And that's true. I
You're
paid him and
healed.
we were done. Yeah, but I never that didn't resolve my foundational problem with my daughter, and I knew that. But it was a good relief, right? So I'm not saying that. But if you truly want to heal and transform yourself, that's how you need to do it, right? And so that's how your mind works. So it's kind of Justine, because people are going to say, oh my goodness, you're not being programmed. There's nothing I can do, which is true in a way, because first of all, it's not your fault. That's what I want to say, right? Because your program are coming from other people or some traumatic event. It can be an accident that, cause to yourself, PTSD or something like that. It doesn't have to be really, coming from people that right? And that most of the program are people coming from, right? And so what you need to do, first of all, you need to be aware what's causing your problem, right? Remember, that's what we say. Number two, you need to how to fix it. And my mind clearing program, that's what this is about. How to fix your mind, how to be able to communicate with your subconscious mind and say, hey, I don't want this. I'm going to delete what I don't want. Step number one. Step number two, I'm going to download instead what I want. And step number three, I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to create and manifest that into my life. You're a guy, you're probably a genius of what you do with computer, right? So when you've got a program in your computer that doesn't work, what are you going to do?
I wipe it clean and start over.
That's it. So step number one, that's true. Step number one, you're going to delete the program that is not working for you.
Because so many times you go in there trying to fix the programming on top of bad programming and it doesn't work. It's frustrating. Exactly. It's painful.
That's why you need to delete the program that's not working for you anymore. So what you don't want, basically, you're going to go to the Play Store. You're going to download a program that works better for you. That's what you want. And in your screen, I call that the screen of life, you're going to be pleased with the result and the outcome. Right? You say, oh, that's what I wanted. Now that program is working for me instead of working against me. It's like your mind is working for you instead of working against you. That's basically what this is about.
This kind of goes with, I know we talked before about whatever you bring into your life and whoever you're around, that's kind of what you become. So whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're doing, you become that. And I know some people are probably thinking, well, this sounds like a lot of work to reprogram myself. If I'm going to put the work into this, and it's like, why do I want to waste my energy on this? But if this is like woo-woo or something, how can we help people get to that point to actually help themselves?
And that's legit, right? They can self-evolve. So let me tell you about one thing, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, let's pretend I've heard there's a drug study, and that drug is against heartburn, right? So I say, I will never do that, but okay, let's pretend I'm going, right? And so they say, okay, Dr. Salas, if you take that pill, we want to study how it works and if it's going to get rid of your heartburn. I say, okay, I'm going to try. I take the pill. I say, man, your pill is fantastic. I don't have any heartburn now. But they say, hold on. You never got the pill. You got the sugar pill. So we call the placebo effect.
Placebo effect is powerful.
Yes. So how the placebo effect works is because my subconscious mind programming, maybe my dad took a pill one day and it really helped him. So now I've got the program. If I take a pill, I will be helped, right? So my mind believing, my subconscious mind, I have to say, right? And my conscious mind can be involved, but it has to have your subconscious mind programming. If I take a pill, I will be healed, right? So it's the belief that the pill will help me. So they know about that. They brush it up. They say, oh, it's only the placebo effect. I say, no, that's the best healing you can get. That's how true healing works.
I just put that together just now. I had someone else talk to me about, oh, the placebo effect's so powerful. You shouldn't believe everything. I'm like, what are you talking about? But now the way you put that into words, yes, it is powerful. And it will change your life and your subconscious. So it is everything.
Because you want to be the placebo, right? You want to be the placebo. That's how it works, right? So see, if you can have that, if you've got that program that take the pills will heal me, it's going to heal you. But now there's another phenomenon. We don't talk about that. And this is called the nocebo effect. So what is the nocebo effect? It means same case scenario. I take the pills, but they tell me, Dr. Salas, you take the pills, but you may have some side effects. And the side effect is going to be diarrhea, for example, headaches. All right. So I take the pills, got better, right? Placebo effect is kicking in, no problem. It doesn't have to, right? But also the nocebo, and they say, man, I felt better in my stomach, but now I've got headache and diarrhea, like you told me. So it's the belief, right? It's the belief that the negative aspect of it, the positive aspect of it, which is a placebo, is called empowering belief. Empowering belief. The nocebo trigger the program you've got in your mind that we are called limiting belief. It's when your mind is working against you, right? The empowering belief is when your mind is working for you, right? So it's just triggered by limiting belief that, oh, if they tell me I will always have some side effect, right? And I've got the side effect. So the nocebo effect is everywhere with the bad news, with everywhere, all the negativity around you that contribute to the nocebo effect, right? So we want to get rid of our limiting belief or negative programming and replace, because here's the mistake, Justin, that people do most of the time. They say, first of all, they come and they say, I don't want this, right? Instead, and when I ask, what do you want? Usually it's kind of scratch right. They don't know because we have been used to be negative. If you look at the stat, 80% of our thoughts are negative. 95% of our thoughts are the same that the day before. So we like the hamster in the spinning wheel, right? And we experience 40 to 60,000 for the day. So how can we make it? How can we be happy? It's not possible, right? That's for the average person, right? It's not possible.
There's too much noise. It's way too much noise for us to take in.
Yeah, but also we have been programmed in a way to resolve problems. So here's the thing: when we resolve, is a problem a positive or negative thing? A problem is a problem. It's not a positive thing. So here's
how you react to the problem.
Yeah, we are too much in our head. All the energy is going to our head, trying to resolve problem all the time, right? But here's the thing: we resolve a problem after you've got another problem to resolve, and after you've got another problem to resolve. That's why 80% all our energy is focused on that negativity or problem solving. But if and the way to resolve the problem is not right, because you say, okay, I don't want this. So you say, please delete it, right? But if you don't replace with something that you want, something else is going to take the room that you left for. It can be a negative programming. You see what I mean? So that's why it's very simple what I'm telling you, but it's very precise. You need to delete and download something that you want. And after you want to make sure that you're going to see that on your screen of life, right? So for people who are skeptics, think about the placebo effect. Think about the nocebo effect, how science recognizes that, but they brush it up and saying, oh, it's only the placebo. And I can give you some examples. There's a study of a knee. So listen to that. That's crazy. Yeah. So they took some people and they have to add some tiny surgery of the knee to scratch it up and things like that, right? So you will see a scar. So on 2/3 of the people, they just give the actual surgery. 1/3, they didn't do the surgery. They just put the scar. So the outcome was the same. The positive outcome of the surgery, meaning the knee is working again, right? Was the same with people who have a surgery and we didn't have a surgery. Same outcome. And yet they had only a scar. So that shows you the powerful of the mind. So I've got two systems that I created. One is called the body clearing, and you can see testimonial over there that I mean, 2 weeks ago, I treated a hot sciatica in the same day in 2 treatments, and it was gone. So do you think that your mind can create pain? You bet. Do you think that your mind can create body symptoms? You bet. So if your mind can be a part of it, especially for chronic pain, right? Because after it becomes, nobody can help you.
Get out of our
right?
mind. We like stop being stuck in our mind.
Yes.
We get stuck in there. Everything is just unencumbersome.
Justin, I knew I was under something when I was able to treat pain successfully. I said, okay, this is because there's nobody in my field that I know of that will claim that will say, oh, you reprogram your limiting belief or your subconscious mind, and that's going to take care of your pain. I don't know anybody who does that. And yet the mind clearing can do that for you, right? So there's one aspect, one of the program, and the second program is called it's about, your success goal and success clearing, right? Because if you can bring the problem with setting goals and be successful, we use again only 5 or 10% of our mind. Do you want me to develop on that to go deeper into that?
Yeah, I do. I want to try and understand because I know you were saying
Okay.
that earlier that we only use 5% of our minds. And I know I was doing some research on like quantum mechanics because like talking about our human consciousness, and they're talking about we only use like 1 bit, but you're saying we could use up to 5 or 10 bits or 15 bits if we use our subconscious mind. So I'm interested in how that kind of would
I
work.
mean, okay, 10 and 15 bit per second of data instead of 15 million that we get. That's 1 million times less, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
15 bits, it's nothing, right? So it's so the subconscious mind is 15 million times more powerful than your conscious mind.
So
So
how
I
do
don't
we
know.
use that every day?
Well,
You get
okay,
like,
so
oh,
let
look, they don't teach us that it's even possible. They don't even teach
yes,
us
of course.
anything.
So here's the
We're
problem.
like zombies.
You say every day, right? So here's the problem. Give me a goal that you want or somebody that you know wants to reach. Give me a goal.
I want to help 1,000 people.
All right.
I want to reach
So
that goal.
so your current reality, obviously, because it's your goal, you're not helping currently 1,000 people,
I
right?
don't think so.
But yeah, that's your current reality,
I
right?
haven't been tracking this. I don't know the metrics either.
So the most important things, when you start something, your motivation is going to be at its peak. You can be more motivated than when you start, right? With mind
But then
clearing,
that
you
goes
can.
down.
You will be, but you will be. Let me explain. So you got your motivation at its peak, and you start to take steps. And you've got obviously, like we know, life is there's always challenges, right? It doesn't go like the way you plan. So it's going to become harder and harder. And so that's going to go like this. It's going to go down and down and down. And if it becomes too hard, what are you going to do? You're going to quit.
I'm
That's
done.
it.
I'll try something else. It didn't work out. Bye.
Now, with the mind clearing my system, that's how it works. So you start with a goal here. So biggest motivation, I will say, okay, Justin, give me a baby step that you need to take that will that you think, because we've got a preconceived idea what's going to work to reach our goal,
Yes.
right? So give me a baby step that within a week you can double check if it has been working good for you towards your goal. So
Are tracking the metrics, tracking the
okay, so
people.
you're tracking the metrics, right? So 1 week later, we revisit and I will ask you, how did it go? So you're going to tell me, oh, there's some good things and bad things, right?
Yeah.
So the things that you didn't like are called resistance. So there are things that are preventing you to reach your goal. So what we're going to do, we're going to delete your resistance. We're going to replace that. So we delete what you didn't like, basically. We're going to download instead what you will have loved for you, the kind of result you had, and we're going to make sure it manifests in your life. And after, we're going to take another baby step. So what's happening with this, you've got less and less resistance.
So I'm
You are,
seeing myself where I want to be, not where I'm not at right the current moment.
yeah, but when you conclude the first step, the first baby step, there's things you didn't like. We're going to delete all that
Okay.
and replace that the outcome that instead you would have wanted to, right? Just follow what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now you've got less resistance toward your main goal, right? Because we deleted some resistance. So I will ask, now you're going to take another baby step. So baby step is maybe to make some 10 phone call of people who have been reaching that goal that you know. So over the 10 phone call, so we take that baby step. Maybe you got 5 people that answer, 3 that brush you up, and 2 that really help you. So there's stuff you didn't like, right? So we're going to delete what you don't like again. So every time when we do that, what's happening, number one, you've got more clarity because you've got less doubt, because all the doubt, which are called resistance, right? All the doubt are gone, right? For that step. So you've got more clarity, you are more confident, and you're more focused because you've got less distraction. And so you're going to take that step. So in a way, your level of consciousness, your level is going to increase at each step, right? And because you've got more clarity and focus and confidence, what happens is the knowledge that you want in order to have a aha moment and you know truly what to do to reach those 1,000 people is here, and you are here. Each time you're going to raise that clarity, that focus, and after you're going to be able to resonate with that knowledge. How do I know that? When I started to have some insight about the mind clearing, I said, how the heck I'm going to explain that to people? I had no clue. Justin had no clue. I knew it was working for some people. It took me 2 years to refine that technique, right? But what happened, I was treating myself. So each time my clarity, my focus, my confidence gained. And after I had some
Ever go
moment,
down? Because it seems like it wouldn't be straight up. It seems like it'd be a little messy. Like
step by
go up,
step,
come down, go up.
but if it goes down, you treat it. Like, for example, one guy told me, how long is going to take? I said, well, if you're impatient, we're going to treat you for that.
All over
You
it
see,
takes,
everything
boy.
becomes simple. Everything becomes really simple. And so what happened more and more, it just go exponential.
Well, as human beings, we want now. We want results now. We don't want to do the work. We just want it to
Like
happen.
if you got that, it's an issue, right?
It
if
is.
you got that, we're going to treat you. We're going to do mind clearing on that. Like
Yeah.
that will have more patience, and you understand that the true gift is not about reaching your goal, it's the journey.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Yeah.
now you can stay in the moment, appreciate your journey, and have more clarity and focus and say, well, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, right? Instead of always projecting yourself in the future and being unhappy because you didn't reach your goal yet.
Yeah, I love that because that right there kind of trickles down to being happy at your job, being happy at home, keeping your wife and kids in your life, keeping them happy, yourself happy.
Yeah.
That,
And so look, and you're not going to burn out. And so
Yeah.
look, if you look at the first without the mind clearing and the subconscious mind, it just goes down, right? With the mind clearing is exponential. It becomes easier and easier because we have been programmed. Oh, it has to be hard. You have to work hard and play hard. No, it's not. If we get rid of your mental blocks, if you get rid of your emotion that goes on the way, because here's the key. Here's the big secret right there, guys. The big secret is this. In order to be unstoppable, in order to be unstuck, you need to have that working for you. You need to have your thought, your emotion, your behavior and action being aligned. What do I mean by that? If I decide in my thought, I say, okay, I'm going to start a diet. All right. So I'm thinking I'm going to start a diet, but I've got a negative emotion that cripple in and say, hey, Alain, last time you started a diet, you lost the weight, but you're getting back in 2 months. Maybe I'm going to so maybe I'm going to take some action, or maybe not. I'm going to say, oh, forget it. So what we mind clearing, what we'll do that, we'll delete that emotion. And like that, my emotion will be positive. We say, oh,
the emotion just deletes. It doesn't come back. It doesn't show up again. That seems weird.
It doesn't come back again for that purpose, for that goal that you had. And if it comes back again, you treat it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't take long. In 5 or 10 minutes, as you know, we can have a negative emotion and it can be gone.
Are you treating that myself, or am I calling you to treat that with me?
Both.
Program.
Some people, for example, especially with health, if they have been sick for a long time, they need some help and guidance.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you are rock bottom, you need somebody that can guide you.
Pull you out.
And you need support, basically, right? And so I'm here to guide you. Because what I forgot to say, it's like you are going to be using your subconscious mind. I'm going to give you the technology to connect to your subconscious mind. You are going to be the one who's going to delete. You're going to be the one who's going to download. I'm just going to be your guide and give you the download program. We're going to customize to you, right? And all that. I'm just a guide for you. So yes, you can learn it on your own and doing on your own, because there's no better healing, transformation, and growth but to empower people to do that themselves. That's the holy grail of healing, the holy grail of empowerment, and the holy grail of transformation and growth. So that's what the mind clearing is about.
I love that, because I love how you said that last statement, because us as quantum beings, we can heal ourselves. We have the tools inside of us. We just need someone to show us how to tap into, how to activate, and how to use those so that we can go on for ourselves and become greater than we've embodied to be.
It's like when you've got a computer and you don't know how to use it. A computer can be super powerful to do some task, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to use it, right, we have never been taught, first of all, that our mind is so powerful, right? It's a little me, right? And second of all, if you understand that the mind is like a computer, for example, your brain is your hard drive, right? It's a physical aspect. Your program is your subconscious mind. The output of your program is your conscious mind. And your behavior is reflected on the screen of life. So if you've got good programming, right, you've got lots of empowering belief, man, you're going to love your life. What you see in the screen of life, you say, man, Hey, Justine, I cannot believe, I just co-created that technique, I mean, created, but, I believe that it doesn't come from us. We tap into a field, right? So I've been bold and blessed to be in charge to do that, right? And I remember when I was back in living in my office, I will have never hoped for such a thing. And this going to trickle down and help millions of people, right?
Yes.
So that's a good programming, right? The negative programming will be, man, I don't understand. Everybody around me is successful, and but victim programming, and I'm not successful. What's wrong with me? And I cannot, I can never get the result, and I'm just gonna giving up and do some other things because I'm not worthy, right?
I
That's
was there. I feel
limiting belief.
that.
Yes, we all have some
Feel
limiting
that
beliefs,
hard.
Justin. We all have some limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Mind clearing happened to be a very fast way to do that and very simple and things that you can do on your own. So that's a treasure, that's because let's zoom out and if you don't mind, let's talk more about spirituality, right? So let's pretend the sun is the divine, is God, is awareness, whatever belief you have about it, right? And the spark of the sun creates your spirit. And all that is what we call non-duality, no judgment. It's pure love, if you want. People understand like that.
Unconditional love.
Okay. And after you've got the sky, right? And after you've got the physical you and me. So some people, the sky is there's so many clouds, they say, there's no sun. I never saw it, I never felt it, right? There's no sun. So what are those clouds made of? That's your limiting belief. That's your negative programming. So when
Mm.
you start to get rid of some of your cloud, some limiting programming, now you can have a glimpse at the sun. You can start to feel the warmth of the sun and you love it because it's pure love. And so what you do, you say, I want more. Let's get rid of more limiting beliefs. So you do more limiting beliefs.
Becomes addicting.
Yeah, yes, and after at one point, you truly experience what we call the awakening. So what does it mean? After you truly realize, because you are so much more connected to your spirit, you truly realize that you're a spirit living a physical experience. And you not only flesh and bone, having no purpose at all, and after will die and your energy will miraculously evaporate, which is an impossibility, right? It's not according to the law of physics, energy transform. They will never disappear. So after you just, and when you come to that realization that you're a spiritual being, your life will never be the same. And when you've got the tools using mind clearing that you can get rid, you can be even be more connected to your spirit and from to God and your divine essence, right? And more and more your life is going to be a blessing. More you're going to be in the moment, instead of being stuck in the past, because those programs are coming from your past, right? So instead of become stuck in your past, you can be really living in the moment, right? Because here's the thing with this programming. It's our past that dictate our present and mold and shape our
Some
future.
of us get so stuck in that we don't realize
I
that we're
know.
spiritual beings having a human experience. We forget that.
That's the key. When you truly understand that, everything become like so you can dissociate yourself more with that, storm in your mind, that mental, storm of those emotions that are, raging inside of you.
Yeah.
Because now you're truly more like what they say the observer, but you're truly more centered. See,
I
that's the
love it.
key
Yeah,
word.
you're saying earlier about the alignment because I'm learning now more and more too that it's not about learning, but it's about remembering. Can we have it all inside us? We need to remember who we are, what we are, how to heal ourselves.
So in order to remember, you need to experience it. So that's why I will encourage people that are listening to us, just, book a treatment with me and you will know you will have, because true knowledge it's about experiencing. That's why, people who are alcoholic, they are being helped the best by people who have been there and done that were alcoholic before. You can have a PhD on alcoholism. If you don't have the experience, you're not going to have the words. You're not going to be able to help them as much because you didn't experience that. It means you don't have the real knowledge about it.
Mm.
So just book a session with me. What's happening if you do that, you will have 20% discount, right? And you will experience it. If your gut is telling you, yeah, I really want to try this and how it works for you. And after you've done the road, you want to learn it from yourself, I can teach you. It's not a problem. That's my goal. This, I want the domino effect. I want lots of people that are, you don't have to be, you can be a coach. You can be a coach, a health professional, that you want to better yourself, right? But also help your patient deeper. Yes, you can learn that, of course,
Yes.
but you can be lay people, right? That you want to help yourself and your family. You want to, for you, it's very important to transform yourself and grow. And to me, you know, it's that's what life is about.
Yes. I know some people may be a little apprehensive at first. So I know I was, because it's kind of like we were talking about the programming. Well, we learned how to do things this way. Now you got they're coming over here talking about some deprogramming or conscious mind. What is this? We're not understanding it.
Sure.
But like, what you have to lose? Try it. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
I
And you're
tried it.
doing,
Yeah,
and it's
I
not
had 2 sessions
hypnosis.
with
You are
you.
in total control. You are the one who's doing it. I'm just guiding you. So it's
Yeah.
not like some voodoo things you will experience. I will ask you, for example, okay, the negative things you want to get rid of from 0 to 10, 10 being super negative. Give me a number. So usually people is between 8 and 10, right? Sometimes
Yes.
20.
I
And
had
so
like what, 18 things, I think.
yeah, there I go. And so, but after only that deleting programming, I will say now, what is it? The emotion, and people say 0, 1. It's gone. Now, is it enough? No, because you again want to replace, and there's an entire protocol for all those negative programming, right? We want to go deeper. But I guarantee you, within 5, 10 minutes, like an emotion that was negative to you is gone. And I know it sounds too good to be true. That's why you need to try it. Like that, you will know what you have to lose. Really, $100. That's it.
Right. And it's funny because I wish I did the podcast first now before trying it. I understand it more from just
You
having this
understand better.
conversation.
Yeah,
So now it's kind of like, well, when I was doing it, I didn't quite understand it that well. I understood to a degree, but this explained it so much more. So now I'm
thank you.
like, well, I didn't get the probably the best effect of it that I could have, but the best
But
out of it, at
not
that time.
necessarily, but it just put like you in a big perspective, right? The big
Yeah,
picture and
huge
all that.
perspective.
And if you after for the creation process, as you know, we do have some things we have to do every day for like 5 minutes and things like that. You will have been more on it, right? Because you will have a better understanding on
Yeah.
that.
Because
Of
I mean,
course,
I'm a big picture kind of person. I need to understand more
we
of
all are.
what is this doing? Why am I doing it? Why are we here? Why am I human? Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing podcasts, right? And so that's why it's very important to understand what this is about. And there's nothing voodoo about that. That's how we are. That's how we are built.
I
That's
can
how our mind is built.
Yeah, I consider this as being functional medicine. You're taking a
Yes,
proactive approach in your life to be better, to get better. No one else is going to come along and save you. You have to take the approach to, I need to do something different. I am tired of the programming in my life. I'm tired of living in trauma and pain. I'm just tired of it. I need to do and take control. And that's when you got to reach out and just try something, give it a shot. If it doesn't
and
work,
really,
it doesn't work, but I guarantee you're going to feel something.
I really appreciate what you said, Justin. Like nobody's gonna do that for you, especially for example, what I call generational trauma, right?
Mm.
Because I was on a podcast and they told me the legacy. Why? What is your legacy? What do you call a legacy? So legacy, just to give a short definition, is basically what people will remember of you, right? Of your achievement and what you have bring to. Like they say, bring to the table in a way. Right? I don't like that expression, but it's kind of things like
It's
that.
more
So
to me. It's more like how you treat people. They'll remember you.
yeah, it can be different things, but for me it's totally different. And I talked to that lady. I say, well, let's take the example of a generational trauma, right? So what does it mean? It means the mom, there's a grandma, or even before, the grandma had a kid and no man to stick around. She raised a kid on her own, and she had a daughter and more kids and a daughter. And the daughter, she became an adult and replicate the same pattern, right? She had a kid, and one of them is a daughter, and after you can see the domino effect, right? It just go on, go on, go on,
You're just
generation
like
after
your
generation.
mother. You're just like your father.
And she will attract, well, because they got that program, men won't stuck with me. That's it. That's that limiting belief, right? And so after, for example, I treat that woman that say, man, all my family, all the women had kids, and when we got daughter, just we cannot, I cannot have a relationship with a man. They don't stuck around. I want to do something about it. I said, great. And so we do the reprogramming, and she had daughter, and I'm gonna tell her, because we did that reprogramming, right? Because you have to understand, when we reprogram your mind, there's a physical impact. there's actually three things that change. And one, I'm going to tell
Do you
you,
feel so different and lighter? Like,
none than that, no. Like according to Bruce Lipton, right? It's called epigenetic. So your genetic, your chromosome will change, your DNA will change according to the outside world and how you perceive the outside world. So if your emotion, if your thought change, your DNA is going to change. After we've got neuroplasty, right? Neuroplasticity. So basically, when your thoughts are different, your brain's going to rewire differently, right?
yes.
Different connection, right? And more positive. And after there's one that nobody talk about that, but I came up with it. There's something that I didn't say about the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind control all the things that happen automatically in your body, like your breathing, your heartbeat, your digestion is controlled by your subconscious mind. All the automatic, should I say, process in your body. The nerves that is in control of all the it's called the autonomic nervous system, is called the vagus nerve. Is the cranial nerve number 10. Remember, I told you I'm a cranial specialist.
Yes.
You see? And so what happened, it will also impact the cranial nerve number 10, right? That's why I teach on the body clearing. I teach a technique that I can teach online that will release the cranial nerve number 10. That will be the body-mind connection that can release your mind, right? You've got the mind-body connection, which is the mind clearing, but also I created the body-mind connection, and you can do it on your own. It's a very easy technique that I will show you how to do that. And that's going to release your cranial nerve number 10. What's going to release your autonomic nervous system? It means, which we could have called it automatic nervous system, right? The same. And so that instead of being in fight and flight all the time, you're going to be more in a relaxed phases, right? So
So
instead of being
true.
what we call sympathetic dominance, which is fight and flight, you're going to be in parasympathetic dominance, which is more rest and relax, right? So there's three impacts that happening. So since the DNA is going to change, when that woman is going to have a daughter, right? The daughter is going to be different. She's not going to have DNA, right? The chromosome wired in a way that she's not basically she's not going to be able to. She's not going to attract a man that doesn't stick around. So that's the best legacy you can give to your family and to the world. Changing yourself, be the change that you want to see in the world, right?
So true. Just
You see what I mean?
help you
So
do the work.
when you change yourself, that's the best gift you can give to humanity, right? But also that's the best gift you can give to your family. That's the best legacy you can have in this world.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
That's a legacy right there. Yeah.
That's for sure.
I went through that myself, figuring out like kind of like my story was like my mom was raped by her dad, which is his daughter. And from that, that was passed down into me. And then from that, I was in this family of like violence and stuff. And like just seeing all that from my parents going through stuff and everything. I didn't want to pass that down. I didn't want to be that person. I saw myself in all these toxic relationships becoming that person. It's something had to change. I had to start doing the work. I had to get myself away from that to not pass that kind of legacy down. So I had to have a wake up moment first. I had to wake up and realize, now how do I do this work? Because some of us don't wake up. Some of us just keep going through that. We see nothing wrong. We're miserable. Everything sucks. We suck. Life sucks. You know, we have to wake up and really realize that we need to get something done and do something better.
So in order to wake up, like if like Justin, for example, you have seen pattern, recurring pattern over
Yeah.
and over again in your life. So we know now, after that, listening to me, you know now that this is coming for your subconscious mind, and there's some negative programming that's directing that, right? So you
Yes.
know what's causing it now. And you know that with the mind clearing now, we can literally empower you to reprogram yourself, right? So you're in total control. You can do that and you feel it right away. This is helping you or not, right? And after either you can do more session with me, depends how you feel about it, or
Yeah.
what you can do, you can learn it from yourself. And that's taking care of the cause of a problem. And like that, you can stop that drama that it's not your fault. I understand, but now it's your responsibility because now
Yeah.
you are aware. Now I give you the, like what you can do about it, right? So I understand that, hey, we have been programmed, we all have been programmed. It's not our fault, right? And it becomes our responsibility when you know how to do it, or at least give it a shot.
I love what you just said. It may not have been your fault, but it's damn sure your responsibility now. It's in your vernacular. You see what's going on. It's time to take action and change because this is so powerful to be able to show up for yourself, show up for your businesses, be the leader you want to be, and really help you in your day to day life. You know, that's
And by
very
the
powerful.
way, there's one thing that I want people to understand if there's some
Yes.
professional listening to us here. You cannot differentiate, professional and personal growth. They go hand to hand.
Yes.
Now you understand they are all connected to that. And when you get rid of some limiting belief, not only let's see for your health or for your business, right? Let's see for your business. That's gonna also help your health. That's gonna also help your relationship, right? Because it's your mind in general that we're going to reprogram, right? Positively. And so, of course, what impact positively your business, it's going to impact your health positively, and it's going to impact your relationship positively. So it's a win-win-win situation.
I know. I love that. You're trying to tell people that they are one and the same. 'Cause, like, so for so long, we've gone through business and working, and we removed the personal from it. I never understood why they did that. Like, you go to work, you go home, you go to school. We don't be human to each other. We don't be kind to each other. But it does go hand in hand. Your
And as an,
personal is what matters.
yeah, and as an entrepreneur, what is your number one tool? Is your mind, is your creativity.
We're
Everything
conscious
starts from
beings and
there.
we're powerful.
Yes, and that's all start from there. Everything that you do. Programming first. Let's see. Let me visualize a triangle here. So visualize a triangle, right? Inside the triangle, you've got limiting beliefs. So let's take an example.
My
Let's
triangle is
see.
probably about this big. Let's just kind of go like, okay.
So let's do that big of a triangle, right? Inside, we're going to take an example. And okay, I've been told I'm a loser, right? So on top of a triangle, that's my thought. So I'm going to think I'm a loser. On the right corner, base corner of a triangle, that's my emotion. I'm going to feel like a loser. On the left base side of a triangle, it's my behavior. I'm going to behave like a loser. So I'm going to have loser result. If I've got loser result, I'm going to feel even more like a loser. If I feel more like a loser, I'm going to think, man, I was a loser, but I didn't know I was such a loser. That's going to reinforce my loser program. I call that the subconscious stress loop. And we are all living with a ton of program behind the scene, running behind the scene, and dictating our present and molding and shaping our future.
That is so true. I have a story when I was younger. I actually had a girl call me a fucking loser because I didn't have anything. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't hold a job. I was living at home at the time. My parents were probably like 20 years old. And that really got stuck inside my mind like, I'm a loser. I'm nothing. I'm not going to be anything. But also at the same time, in my mind, too, I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell me that? And I kind of took that control. I was a victim for a minute, but I realized I need to not be this person, too.
And that's such a good point because, I can go through some situation and I've been like, I will have judged, that will have affected me big time before,
Yeah.
before doing the mind clearing. And now it's not that I get emotional like everybody, but it doesn't last. It's processed. Here's the key. It's processed very quickly. What makes the difference between somebody who's healthy, who's healthier, who's happier, who's got more energy? That's what makes the difference. How long it takes for you to
Hey,
process
EQ.
things. Yeah. How faster you process things, because we are human beings, we're going to react to it. But in a blink on an eye, boom, you process that, and after you can go back to the center, and you can be more efficient, and you can be more loving, and you can have more peace in your life.
Yeah, we tend to hold on to things that are too long and they break us down emotionally, physically, and
Yes.
mentally.
That's the problem. It's like it takes too long to process things. That's what getting stuck is about. Getting stuck, you cannot process the damn things and you are stuck, right? And so some people are stuck for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. That scares the hell out of me.
I know. So imagine doing mind clearing. And that's why, I need to bring awareness to that, because that's really, for me, mind clearing is a revolution. Is not only like because it can impact your health, can impact your relationship, can impact your prosperity and your spirituality.
So true. Like we said earlier, we're spiritual beings and we need to reconnect to whatever we see as God and our mind, body, and soul to be in alignment.
And what disconnects us is our negative programming. That's how disconnected from who we truly are. So when you can get rid of that negative programming, you can connect to your spirit, and your spirit is eternal, right? It's forever.
That
The spirit is
eternal
different from the
flame
soul.
burning.
People make the confusion with spirit and soul. I want to say that the soul is in duality, right? Spirit is non-duality, right? Like I said before, right? It's all pure love and all that, right? But the soul it's a different thing. It's on duality, right? So it's only a part of your being that you want to tap into your spirit. That's where you want to be connected, because that's where
Body.
all there is and has ever been is. That's what all pure love is. That's all the connection with God that we all looking for, even if we don't admit it, because we look and we have been told, oh, if you buy this, you'll be happy. So we think that
You
the
look externally
happiness,
too much.
yeah, it's the outside world, but after you realize that the true happiness is within, there's no other ways.
And I've actually been on that journey myself, and the past couple of weeks have been profound. I know my wake up call was what happened with Charlie Kirk. You know, I respect that guy, what he was doing. And just from that happening, I saw a shift in everything, in the way I saw things, in my spirituality, in my relationship with whatever I call God. And this really kind of woke me up more. And then us doing the mind clearing, it really helped me really put things in more of alignment. They're still out of a line. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm
Of
already
course, we all
awoken. I
do.
see where I need to go.
Ultimately, it's a never
Uh,
ending journey, right? Because you want to connect to your spirit. But it doesn't mean that you have to do that forever. Of course not. And if you want to do that forever, learn the technique and you will have a tool to do that forever. It's not a
you're doing it
problem.
24/7.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think the goal of what is to be a human, right? You told me you will have that question. So what is for
Yeah.
me to be a
What does it
human?
mean to you to be a human being?
It's just to be connected as my spirit and my higher self and the divinity as much as I can. That's what it means.
It's a very powerful episode. There's a lot to unpack in this episode. It's a lot of information. And I was kind of like a little overwhelmed, but at the same time, it's stuff that I know I and probably our audience would needed to hear, needed to understand. And I'd
And you
like to
can
have,
rewind and repeat. I
yeah,
understand that. My goal is like, I've got, okay, this amount of time. How can I deliver the information? And I think it's pretty simple. It's just there's a lot of it. And so you can rewind and listen again. And more you listen to that, more you're going to realize, yeah, I didn't make that connection and all that. And more,
and
yeah,
now I
that's
feel
my
that
advice
because, like
to
I
the
was
audience.
saying earlier, I've been listening to a lot of YouTube videos on quantum mechanics and the subconscious and our programming. And just listening to all that doesn't mean I understand everything they're talking about. But listening to it more and more, I start understanding and try to understand how it works, what they're talking about, the language they're using.
And that's the problem. The language that I'm using was not complicated.
No, not at all.
You
But
see
now
what I
I'm
mean?
listening to is hard, but
But that's it. For me, as a
it may be
teacher,
to
because
somebody because they're not around it yet. But keep
because of my
listening.
accent, probably my accent would be
Yeah, that can be like, for me, it took a little bit getting used to. So I hear the
bad.
words and then I
But
get
the thing and the matter, for me, I pride myself to try to be a good teacher. And a good teacher has to explain things simply. If you cannot explain things simply, it means you don't own what you're explaining.
you don't understand it.
You don't own it. That's it.
I love that. Damn, it's a very powerful, groundbreaking episode here. I want to
Thank
appreciate you coming on here, Alain. I know we're kind of past our time a little bit. But if anyone wants to reach out to you, can you let them know how they can reach out to you if they want to work with you? Any
Sure,
last
of
words
course.
you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah. So first thing, you go to the mind clearing, THE mindclearing.com. You go into contact. You've got a jot form. You can fill that in. You've got my email and say, okay, I want to try a treatment with you. I want to learn the technique, whatever it is, right? And so I will, of course, reply. And after, usually I like to have a meeting first, no charge, and just to make sure that you understand, you don't have any question before you start. And it's an hour process, right? It's 1 hour, and you will feel different after. All right, that's number one. If you want to learn it, I've got an online program. You will get 20% discount on the treatment, and if you want to learn the mind clearing basic, the body clearing, and the goal and success clearing, I will give you 50%, 50% off if you want to learn all that, right? And so again, just to First of all, I want to tell you how powerful you are, right? We don't realize how powerful we are, right? And when we start to get reconnected to our spirit by eliminating our limiting belief with mind clearing, you truly understand that. And you're going to see the life totally different. Totally.
Sure.
If you want, life is waiting for you. You just have to go for it, right? And you take baby step. The first step, maybe get a treatment to have a feel for it, to see if you like it, and get another baby step. And after, you will know because your intuition will kick in. I mean, there's so much more I can talk about.
Yeah.
But I
We'll have you
understand
back
we are
on here
limited
again.
with time. Yeah. Yes, we can do that.
I always tell people you got to disconnect from the matrix and reconnect to your self-reliant power grid. Reconnect to yourself.
And connect to who you truly are.
Yeah.
Not what you have been told you are. You have been told that you are only 5 or 10%. You have a little me, and you're so much bigger than that, right? And you don't have to believe me. Get some treatment. You will understand what I'm talking about. You will feel it and you will experience it.
Yeah, because we're sold this lie of obedience and fear. And that programming is so self-destructing.
Which is the opposite of placebo, remember? That's the nocebo effect we talk about.
Woo! Some powerful stuff. And you're like, whew, do some meditation on this one. Alain, thank you so much for coming on here again. And we'd love to have you back on here. Maybe we'll go deeper on some stuff, maybe a 2-hour episode. Oh, yeah,
I created a philosophy about it, the vibration and things like that. And
yeah,
that would be something I would love to share. Thank you for having me, Justin. It's been a real pleasure. Damn. And all your comments and all that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You have a good rest of your weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.